everybody at one time. We might introduce Samantha, we might not, I don't know. So I'll have you introduce your team, but you're the district director of Southwind Extension Office.
Extension District.
Extension District. Okay, and we also have Janet Miller, Krista Harding,
Correct.
and then I'll let you,
Yes.
one of them.
Correct, yes. So with me today, I have Tara Sullivan Smith, who is our family and community wellness agent, and Holly Yoho, who is our extension program assistant.
Okay, and they've got a handout that has the biography information that you sent us yourself. I won't repeat that, they've already got that information. But you represent, which counties?
We represent Neosho, Allen, Bourbon, and Woodson.
Okay, who is from a county that's not included in there? Okay. You're able to go ahead, are you
Yeah,
gonna
I'll
be
talk
talking about that? Okay, so, you've got her contact information, but if you're not in her, area, she can go ahead and make sure that you reach out. Who works with your extension office quite frequently? Who has not worked with your extension office yet? Anybody? Alright, well, I have a feeling somebody from Pittsburgh will run with this. They don't trust you. Okay. So,
Good job.
what's that?
It's a good idea.
Good
I
idea.
would.
Okay, so the extension office for Dr. Ant, I think. With also having the concept of the citizen scientist. I think that they're gonna be very important for us to work with in order to try to maximize what this grant will do. The key thing on the grant is we're gonna have access to some equipment that other organizations won't have access to, but they'll have the know-how, the experience, the know-how, and some also ideas of how we can maybe maximize that equipment. So, and the other person that we have is Janet Miller from Network Kansas. She's going to be talking about the entrepreneurship program, especially with youth, but it's with all ages. And then I think you've got a couple other things that you're going to be focused on too. And then we have Samantha Cole from Kansas Works. She just came because her mother was here, so that's the only reason she was here. But I've already got a lot of information that's going to be useful for the 80 hours of digital navigators that or literacy navigators that we're going to get. She's giving me some ideas of how to recruit for that, and then also maybe to go ahead and continue that after the grant. So I think these three organizations are going to be very useful for us to work with, and hopefully we'll be able to take advantage of this next year with that grant. And then she just found out that she's involved in two other grants that got funded with the DOT grant that's focused on one of them is more on the agriculture. So I look forward to this year. I think it's going to be very busy, so it might be too busy for me. So we'll let extension office start first, and then we'll probably go with Network Kansas, and then we'll have you at the last. You each have about 30 minutes. If you need a little bit more, you can work with your colleagues if you're going to steal their time.
Well, thank you, Darren, for the invite today. We really appreciate that, and are looking forward to the opportunity to work with you folks. I've already introduced the staff, so I'm going to skip past that. I did want to explain a little bit that, yes, extension is in all 105 counties across Kansas. So regardless of which county you live in, there is going to be an extension office there that you can make contact with. So I did bring a handout today that is a map of Kansas. Many of our county offices are now in a district system like what we are, but several are still just standalone counties. But this document will have all of the contact information on it for you, so you can make contact with your local office. The disclaimer that I want to give before we start here today is Because we are in a district, like you saw in our biography, we have a larger staff than say what some counties do. So we have 8 agents and 2 program assistants. And with that being said, some of the stuff we're sharing today, we offer that, of course, to our 4 counties. But the units that you work with, they may or may not have this material specifically for you to work with. So I just want you to be aware of that. You know, I would hate for you to go back and say, you know, they said you had this, and then it makes them feel bad. So I don't know exactly what type of programs the other units offer, but this is what we have here in the South Lake District. So I think to get us started, Tara, my first on the list is junk drawer robotics.
Yeah. Oops. So I do have,
Yeah, I sure will.
yeah, my flyer I'm handing out is adult and youth programming that I can offer. We do have highlighting some of our STEM programming this afternoon. This is a standalone handout that actually talks about robotics and then actually gives you a flashlight, do-it-yourself flashlight you can make. The goals and skill building of the junk drawer robotics is learning about everyday uses of robots in our lives and observe the different functions of a robot, and then also building your own robot. So I have a couple of copies of the curriculum. I can hand those around to just review if you want to get one of these before you leave. But basically, everything in this box, kind of what you have laying around at home. You can build your own robot with these items. And so we did this as a summer engagement. And so we have all these materials at the moment and would love to use them. We also have some space tech curriculum. If you're interested, reach out. Our 4-H youth development agent probably knows more about this. Reach out to her this fall if you're interested. And then there's a 6-series Mindfulness and Me program. This is just one of the activities that has a book, the Visiting Feelings with it. And then I've also done at some libraries, Who Gets Grandma's Yellow Pie Plate? So navigating, transitioning and giving away those non-titled items. For adults, we could also, and families, we could do WITS workout, which utilizes your mind, but it has a social aspect, it has a physical movement aspect, and a using your brain aspect as well. We also have bonding through board games. We could do a board game night. We bring several different types of games, the Euro style games. So they're less about winning and more about that connection and learning to take turns and family togetherness. So those are just some things that we can offer this summer. What has fit well with the summer theme, I've done my blender bite. I'll bring that in a little later, maybe at the end we'll do our blender bite. And I've coordinated that with a colorful plate, the My Plate, and getting all those different colors. And we do an activity around choosing health, food, fitness, and fun. And we create a meal plan, basically, choosing all the different food groups.
Holly is going to talk about the what is known as breakout boxes, and also tie that to some of the information that comes from the Kansas Corn Commission, which Darren had specifically asked that we kind of cover a little bit of that. Okay.
How many of you have heard that commercial on the radio for the Kansas program for corn? I'm the only one.
Okay.
That's interested. Oh.
Yeah, let me just say, it is free programming. They have everything for it. So Kansas, first I will say one of the things that we have, we got on and we were looking at something that would be fun and interactive to take in with kids in the classroom setting or a library setting.
Who has participated and done an escape room? Bless your hearts. An escape room, it like makes my insides tingle, seize up. But what I have right here, I know there are a lot of people's jam, and I wanted something that I could have all built in together. And I take to a class and I have a group right here and I say, have fun, figure it out. So this is our, and I'll let you guys pass this around. It's not all done. Let me show you guys real quick. So this is what our box is. You get one of these boxes and you get clues. We go on, Kansas Corn has a bunch of agricultural type related activities and they're free. So these breakout boxes, what they do is it has all the curriculum for you, they have everything, and you get your clues. And so I utilize them and I'll put one clue, you could hide it around the library. You could, so one clue leads to another. Oh, so now. I don't know about that one. Yeah, you can hold the box and I'll pull out of it. It comes with this cool little thing, it's like a asp, I think is what they're called. And all these different lots. We're talking letters, combinations, color things. So this can really work for any age group. Does it all have to be Kansas Corn? Does it all have to be? No. It can be, our agent, Amanda Klassen, she is our community vitality agent. And I'll pass this around so you guys can kind of look at it. She does a money, like a financial sense kind of workshop with it, and she brings it in. She has everything ready to go. She has everything ready to go. She comes, she gives your kids, and you guys can pass that around to look at everyone. She gives your kids this starting scenario. I think it's like, Marvin the Martian is stuck, his spaceship's like crashed on America, on the Earth. How is he gonna get out of here? But he's gotta make money to do that. So you give them the clue, and essentially they have to work within their group and be the one to figure out that. It talks about collaboration, it helps our kids with collaboration, it uses STEM, it uses science, technology, all of that, because they've gotta work through those clues. You get like a cool, some of them are like UV, like invisible ink, it'll use that. These breakout boxes do cost money. We have 6 or 7. I have found whenever you're using them, it's best to put the kids in groups of 3, groups of 4. If you have huge groups that are working on it, you're gonna have someone that left out and lost. It's too easy for a kid or an adult, because these can be used for adults too, to kind of get pushed back. That 3 to 4 is kind of like that magic number. These can be used not just for kids. I know sometimes we struggle to find things for adult learning. These can also be used, you could have a breakout box night. We could also use these for adult learning as well. I know she went to the college, Fort Scott Community College, and did one. And they actually, I think, struggle more with some of the kids do. But we do offer that. We do the Kansas Corn lesson. We could also come up with some other lessons. We would love to come in and set this up and do it. It's a great interactive, fun thing to do. I will tell you, Kansas Corn, get into them, and that's where we discovered the breakout boxes. And we are happy to come in and do them. There's also Breakout EDU. And that is where we bought the boxes from. I will tell you, there is a cost to the boxes. They are a little pricey, but
What is the cost? Or is it?
was it 300 and
Okay.
something a setup? So one box with all the locks and everything was 300 and something. Breakout.edu, the box that will be coming around.
How many boxes do we need for most of for the regular program? We need probably about.
I don't know, it would depend on how many kids
So one
or
for
how many. I would say 1 per every 3 to 4, and 3 to 4. That'll be in a group. You can have bigger groups. If you could only afford 3 boxes, you can have 5. You can have a bigger group. However, I have found in going and doing these boxes, that the smaller the group is, it helps all the different brain types be engaged. I've also found it's really good to split up thinkers. So you don't want 3 groups of, one that's a whole group of leaders. You have all those, we're gonna get this done, because they're not gonna solve it. They're gonna fight and have some infighting. So it's really good because it teaches kids and it teaches even adults to be okay and work with how different thinkers, and the person that you may not think is gonna come up with the answer, they have the answer, but with 3, they're willing to listen to that person. So I found it's a pretty inclusive type activity. Great. Another thing, Kansas Corn though does offer a lot of free activities. I know we all have to be budget minded and stuff like that, so they have some free activities. I'll leave this one, I haven't personally done this, so I don't know, but I went on, I got an email that said, we have free scientist kit. Okay, I'll order something free and see what it's like. And they sent me this, and it's really cool. It's a whole summer scientist lab, and it comes with corn books, and it comes with these little journals. I think they journal how their seeds are growing and stuff like that. It has the pots, it has these little soil pods. It comes with everything you would need. And we would be happy, you guys got these in, we would be happy for someone to come in and prepare the first lesson, present that lesson to your group, and then you guys have them come in maybe and they can measure and monitor, and you could host it there at your library. And this would be something no matter what district you're in or what extension unit. If you guys got this, I don't want to speak for the other agents, but this would be something they could come in, potentially do the first lesson. And then you guys could have the kids like monitor and measure as the corn grows and stuff. So don't be afraid. There's all kinds of other lessons that they have for free. So don't be afraid to reach out to your extension office or even organizations like Kansas Corn STEM and get those free resources to use. So, okay. That's it.
Next up, does anybody know what this is? Anybody?
Yes, it's
Incubator.
Very good. Library next week.
Is that right? Okay. Yes, so we do offer chick incubation. The thing about chick incubation is it's not a one and done kind of standalone program. That is because it takes 21 days, I believe, from the time the eggs are put into the incubator until they hatch. So what we do have a curriculum that we use. Honestly, I've enjoyed watching kind of the process as much as I think some of the kids did. One year we hatched ducks, that was super fun. We hatched quail, chickens, of course, but through the process, the youth will handle the eggs, to look at the inside, to see if the eggs are fertilized. Then as the process goes, observe the development of the chick inside. Our disclaimer about the chick incubation program is we're happy to come hatch at the library, but we are not going to take the chicks home with us. So you all would need to work with somebody in your community to then want those eggs. But it's a great program. We do need a little bit of notice for this one, just because we have to source the eggs, which sometimes gets to be a little bit difficult for us. But it's a great program for kids that they really enjoy. So the other one that I'll briefly talk about up here, this is probably more geared towards adults, but if you ever want to do any gardening, seed starting in the spring, this is a do-it-yourself grow light that we can come and demonstrate to patrons how to make. It's easy to set up, relatively inexpensive. And then we also are available to do some container gardening projects, like in a bucket, if that's of interest. So, I think you're up then. Oh.
Okay, this is the Blender Bite. So we provide the ingredients but you all have to provide the pedal power. And, of course, I've made mostly smoothies and salsa with this. We have taken it to farmer's market and used produce and made salsa. So I have to, be careful, check on food allergies, of course. But this has yogurt, milk, blueberries, and a little bit of banana in it. And I do need a volunteer. After that big lunch, we need some exercise.
There we go.
So we can. We do have, most youth can fit on this one. We do have a kids bike, but the blender's in the back. It's not quite as much fun, but we do have a smaller bike. Of course, my smoothie is purple, but obviously you can make a lot of different smoothies. And so every kid gets a chance to ride it. I usually have plenty of ingredients, a couple of blenders and refill them. And then they get to sample it. We talk about how many fruits and vegetables and how much physical activity you need each day.
Tara, you've done this with adults too, though.
Yeah, I have done it with adults, with farmers markets, with your library or your hour. What else have I done with? I've gone into high school, grade school. You have samples after all your hard work, Matt. Victory!
Night. I knew I had thank you rule. We talked about that, didn't we? We talked about when you go to do kid things, they, are go to thank you rule, but when you go to like older group, sometimes the older division doesn't have thank you.
Holly has a older, wiser, and livelier group that meets monthly to limit social isolation of older adults, and there's usually an educational component to it.
And I know several of the libraries have also started doing that as well, and just, I know St. Paul has a group and Fort Scott has a group. And it's just 1 hour a day or 1 hour a week getting that older demographics.
Any more? Want to try it?
Nope.
Okay,
Thank
you
you.
guys want to try it? No, okay. All right, anybody else?
All right, thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, to finish up here, I just have a copy of what we call our Speakers Bureau. So this lists out various programs that we can come and give it like an official program on, and so I'll pass this out. I just, want to thank you guys for potentially partnering with us. We look forward to collaborations in the future, and this is really just a small sampling of some of the programs that we offer. So if you have something specific in mind that you're looking for, don't hesitate to reach out to us, because more than likely we can probably put something together. So yeah, you want me to take questions now, or
Go ahead and take
if
questions
anybody had
now.
any questions for us? We have to answer. Yes.
For the aging incubator, what all eggs can you do?
So like I said, we have done chicken eggs, of course. We did quail. They were super cute. Little quail are like that big when they hatch out. We did do ducks. We've not done geese or anything like that. Do you have?
Oh, I was just kind of thinking maybe like a native bird.
Oh, yeah, no, we haven't done anything like that. So, yeah. Any other questions? Hey, thank you all.
I'll let you know, one of the areas in the doc grant is gonna be robotics, and we're gonna be getting some robotic kits and then also some drone kits. But the robotics, this could be a great collaboration to the kits that we're gonna try to get are gonna be around the $400 to $500 range, and they're gonna be 10 to 12. Different robotics, and then, we'll go ahead and we'll do, group training on that, so. I think this would be, working with your robotic program and using the stuff that we're gonna be able to purchase, I think will be great, so I look forward to. Working with you on trying to do something like that. Lisa, you're doing something right now with something related to, like. Computer stuff and making robots, or what are you creating right now? And you were taking some computer parts, what were you making with that? Or doing chimes and stuff, okay. I guess we have some robotics on. Okay, I believe that you're next.
Samantha goes, she's got her computer set up and I wanna use the setup too, so since she's already
Okay.
open, let's let her go and go.
I did.
So expedite.
Sending it to go.
Can you introduce the other person?
Yeah, we will.
Okay,
So,
I didn't know you were bringing someone.
well, we didn't know until.
Last minute, I got asked last minute, so.
That was yesterday.
Did not mess with any stuff at all.
I did.
Did it remember anything else? Just, can I show your full screen? Oh, yeah.
I'll keep it 15 minutes, but, the other people again, or the other. Off to our area to know that we're really wanting.
So you can see them a little better.
So like we said, like I said earlier, Samantha Cole, so I'm the business services representative for this area. I cover from Neosho County, Allen County, Anderson, and Miami County. And also right now, we're gonna by Emporia as well. So I am a mom of 4 boys that keep me really busy and super happy. So my mom gets to see me present today. She's never seen it. So today I brought Stephanie with me. Stephanie is a pro in our youth services. She is a great resource for you guys. We are always happy to work with any youth that you guys have coming in and being able to do things. So
I'm Stephanie Rash. I've been with Kansas Works for 3 years. This is technically gonna be my 4th school year. I work through our 17 counties, K through 12, so I do a lot with the school. Usually trying to put on events, whether it be touch trucks or if I'm finding them like job placements or job shadows and careers they want to learn about. So that's kind of my side, and I work hand in hand with the BSR, what Samantha is, and a couple of our others. So they asked me if I could tag along. So here I am.
just yesterday, I like 3 o'clock.
I like that. So here I am.
So today we're going to be talking about how we can partner together and work together to help your guys' patrons be able to access the benefits that we do offer. There are several programs that we do offer individuals if they qualify and they meet certain criteria. All of our services are no cost. So we provide those services to those individuals that may need them. We try to help them build their future so that they will go. Yeah. All right, so what exactly is Kansas Works? We like to say, we like to say, we don't like to say, we're the best kept secret. It's a program that a lot of people just don't know anything about. Like I said, we offer a lot of funding, a lot of different programs that we can help individuals get their GED. We can help them do training, different things like that. We can also do job searches, resumes, and get everything done at no cost to them, and also to an employer as well. So we do job fair recruiting and services. Our staff helps facilitate and market all of these. The reason that I put this on the slide is that, so we, a lot of times we'll do like on-site, job
job fairs and things like that, but, libraries are another option that we can use as well. Those spaces are where we can utilize that, but also get you guys to go walk in people as well. So we're always happy to help and bring on individuals in the library too. All right, so our services include again the custom resume help, career coaching, soft skills training, scholarship training, information, and work-based learning. We also help with the GED assistance, the on-the-job training, and child unemployment. So again, these are all things that these patrons that are coming into your locations might be, it may be beneficial for them to know about and be able to come in and do those things. We can do these things on site. I've done it numerous times at the Iowa location that if an individual isn't able to come into one of my offices where I'm at a physical location, I'm happy to come to the library to be able to stand with them because it is a public space. The other thing that we do offer is, and then but I kind of smashed a couple of different slideshows together, so this is new for us. So we can also offer a Kansas First computer for your location. Some of the locations that we have in Southeast Kansas already have these computers. These computers allow them to have a direct pipeline to job postings and applications, so they're able to easily access our site. These computers are used specifically for this use, so if you kind of set off to the side, they are no cost to you. We bring them in, we set them up, we maintain them, all that. They just set at your location. So if you have people that are coming in and applying for jobs, or even if they're, so right now, a lot of what we're seeing in our workforce centers is if someone's on unemployment for 4 to 6 weeks, what they do is they come in and they have to set up a source account. If they don't have one, they have to do what's called a My Reemployment Plan. These computers would be beneficial for that. So that way they can come in, get their Kansas First account set up, access it, and be able to do all their stuff for employment as well. It allows them to do career assessments, access to Pathway Explorer. So like we do virtual job fairs every single month that individuals can go to this virtual job fair, they can get in touch with an employer, they can do an online Zoom meeting with them, so they can do their interview with them as well. And then we're happy to show your staff so that they can just easily guide. You don't have to do anything other than just say like, hey, this is how you get into it, it's how you access it, just those things. And so the question was how we're able to partner with you guys. So you guys do a lot of workshops and things on your own. We know that you guys are going to be at the time, but there are some things that we can do. So we can co-host career days, or like Stephanie said, she'll kind of go into that a little bit more. So for like the littles that we could do, touch trucks, things like that. With teens, we could do mock interviews or job readiness classes. It just takes them to where they're more comfortable with the workforce whenever they get started. And then promote Pathway Explorers for schools, homeschoolers. So a lot of those individuals, if they are a homeschooler, they have online schooling, which we are seeing an uptick of those that they just don't have the opportunity to practice those soft skills. So it is nice for them to be able to come in and do that. If you guys are wanting and willing, we can do workshops for that as well. And then we can tie into the summer reading program or STEM program with a career thing. So we're always happy to do that.
Okay, so youth services. So when we say youth, that's usually a stigma. People are like, oh, you just mean like high school age or, K through 12. Now, for us, 16 to 24 is considered our youth program for out of school youth and school youth. So if they're in college or doing any type of like technical schools, it's 16 to 21. So we don't just stop at 18. We go up. Usually they'll walk in the door and they're like, I'm not a youth. I'm like, well, actually you are, and you qualify, and it's cool. But what we want to start doing is reaching out. So with our youth program, usually we can help kids with their GED assessments. We do those soft skill trainings. So that's going to be that common courtesy. That's going to be, how do you have those hard, difficult conversations? How do you homework? How do you find resources to use if you can't print something that you need for work, or where can you go? Where can you find your information? Maybe you have to go help do some research for a project with work. Where does that go? Nobody ever thinks everyone. Clothing has changed a lot since we've been there, and it can basically wear whatever. So to hear that is crazy to me. When I walk in, they're like, "Oh, well, I just wore my sweats, call it good." But no, okay. Nowhere low cost trade.
training, so if they have something they wanna go into, or a high demand occupation, maybe you guys have a group who really is interested in like robotics or welding. We have programs that we offer that we don't pay for, so we wanna talk to those individuals with this COVID run. We are a grant fund, so have funds, we either use them or lose them. We all know how that works. I've worked in grant funding all my life, and unfortunately, there's times where you just can't use the funds, and you get out cut. It kind of sucks for those people who are already in there. So we're wanting to make sure we're using all this for training, resume workshops, we come in, teach them how to, we have a new platform, that will use job placement referrals, so maybe you guys wanna be a landing spot for it, because, we do what we call a summer youth employment program. And that's where they tell us, hey, I wanna be a librarian, hey, I wanna be a mortician, hey, I wanna go and be a construction worker, and we go and we find them actual places in our local community. And they get that hands-on experience with you guys. All they are, is an extra set of hands, there's no cost to you, we pay them for their time, it's an actual smart job. They get the knowledge, they get to learn, they get to see, is this a career I wanna do, is this where I wanna be in life? So it's kind of really cool to see those aha moments and then connect, be like, hey, I built something cool. Mock interviews, we can come in and do mock interview set, and then, hey, work experiences, like I was talking about. Here's the cool side to this. We can do these for your adults. So if you guys have a group of adults who come in and you're like, they could really use an interviewing workshop, they could really use a resume building workshop, they could really use how do you apply for a job, or we're building one for just computer in general. But right now, there's a lot of computer illiteracy, unfortunately, and so how do we help people get through that? Because everything's online, we're going all online. I prefer paper, I'm old school, I'd rather do paper, keep paper, definitely we're having change, right? So these are also available for those others. For your adults, 18 and up, we also have an adult program, so if you have somebody and you're like, hey, I have a group of adults, I think would be really good for you guys to talk about all your resources. It's a program for them too, that can help get them into that field. My side of this is a little more fun. I work with K through 12 throughout the school years, and so I get to go do all the fun things. They call me up to go, hey, I need to do a touch truck over the summer. Okay, well, who do I talk to? Usually my libraries, you guys are my go-to, because you guys are like, let's do it. If we can get a bunch of kids here, and we can put a bunch of things in, and we can do stuff inside, and we can have stuff outside, and they can go crawl through cars, and go meet people in their local community, and then come in and do some fun activities with us. We love that. That gives me that bridge, and that's my job. I bridge you guys from employers to the community, to the resources that they have. So elementary school, I do more career awareness. Sometimes I call you guys in as guest presenters. So if you have an interest and you're like, hey, I wouldn't mind talking about being a librarian, that would be great. I always have these needs for people to come in and are like, but we have her study who actually does the job. Is it worth it? Oh, well, there's probably not a lot to it. You guys can come in and go, hey, I do a lot more than what you think I do. There's a lot more to this. It's what I get to see. I've never, it's cool to see them kind of resonate with that. Field trips. I have a lot of them for like, I don't even know where my local library is. Field trips are something I help schools organize. That's what I do. If you guys are like, hey, they can come here anytime, and come do a field trip and we can talk about where we are, I want to do that. Career fair expos, same thing. If you guys know you have summer help that you're gonna need, or you guys just want to be a part for them to know, I'm the one who kind of helps put those on for elementary school, middle school, and high school, so I can get you guys out there, get you in the know, you see these kids. Resume introductions, community awareness, basic life skills. My one this year, because it always changes by year of what I have to teach them, is they didn't know how to read a paycheck this year. So I have to go in and teach them how to read a paycheck, because I'm like, how do you know you're being paid right? Believe it or not, they're just like, oh, well, just get deposited and then just go spend it. I'm like, but how do you know if you got cut short off the check? Oh, I know, I just trust them. Career bound students, interview prep, skill assessment, and Pathful Explore. Pathful is huge for us. We use Pathful, got some really good things to it, everything from FAFSA to resumes to cover letters to how do I go look at job market information? How do I go look at, my local resources? How do I connect with them? Pathful is about things for us, okay? So we want to keep it. Registered apprenticeships are becoming huge in Kansas again. Earn while you learn is kind of how they try to put that out there. It's basically an OJT through the state. There's an RA program, we have state reps who are around here. So something that you guys are like, you know what? A librarian spot as a registered apprenticeship, we'd be willing to work with you. Usually they have to get a certain amount of hours. They will have a wage that they get paid as they go through. This is something we would like for you guys to do. It's usually from 1 to 5 years. Usually it's 2 to 3 that we've been seeing them go to for registered. It just depends on the target occupation. They have to have a minimum of 144 hours related to the job, classroom training for every 2,000 hours of the OJT. So we basically just have to come in and work with them and go, hey, this is your soft skill training. And then they can do 2,000 hours of the work experience. Okay.
How much would the libraries have to provide on that?
So really, it's just you providing them the thing to work
Okay,
for that.
You do like you do the time sheet at the end of the week, and that's pretty much all you have to do. There's some forms to fill out in the beginning, but that's really it. You don't, it's pretty hands off for you guys because the payroll is done through Kansas Works. We have a third party provider that does all of that. So generally, whenever they're doing an OJT, it's gonna be the same for an adult as it is for a youth. Say if your position is gonna be $16 an hour, we have them, when they start, they'll start at 15. The reason for that, we're not cheating them out of that dollar. What we're doing is that dollar goes towards workman's comp, so that covers that workman's comp portion for them for each hour that they work. That dollar goes to workman's comp, so you don't have to pay workman's comp on that individual when you're working for you. So a lot of that just stays, and if you find that it just doesn't work for them, that's okay. We can send you other ones, and that goes for both youth and for adult as well. The purpose of this is for them to be able to try out the employment, for you to try out the employee. But if it's not a good fit, we all work with humans. We know that sometimes it's not a good fit, then it's just not. We want you to be able to have staff that fits your needs and be able to build that staff as much as we can. Ultimately, at the end of the day, we're more than just jobs. We want to make sure that we're keeping those jobs and those businesses here, which also includes you guys as libraries. You guys are a public resource and a huge hub for us to be able to make those connections with those individuals. But we can also help you with your staffing needs too. So you have summer staff that comes in and does your shelving. You have kids that come in and they're looking for just experience and they don't have any. These are programs that are great for them. These can be individuals that may have been out of the workforce for a while. They could be ones that are retired, like we talked about before, and they're just looking to make the ends meet or make those things kind of come together. We just want to make sure that, you know, we're putting those individuals with you that are going to be a good fit. And sometimes these are ones that just don't know where to go or where to start. So they may not have a good resume that's been built, but they have really good people skills. But when they look on paper and they send in an application, they send in a resume, the employers will keep away before they can see them. So that's what we're here for, is to help them out. So, and anytime, like I said, anytime that we can do workshops for you guys, we're happy to. All of our stuff is no cost. And then, like I said, our computers are an amazing resource as well. So.
And we do have a list, so a bit on terms of, well, I just don't know if there's a workshop that may fit here. I have a list created. That's a fun part of my job too. I'm kind of the one who sits through and makes these workshops. You can think it, we can make it usually is how we say. So that's kind of my dual purpose here today too. On the other side of this, I do a lot with our business side. And so we're kind of calling on library to start letting us meet our patrons where they're at, which is where you guys are. They all know you're a resource. So on our board is our contact, Samantha, of course, is based out of Chanute. I'm based out of Independence. However, like I said, I travel all 17 counties. I have coverage throughout. So if you guys have a want or a need, our contact information is there. We did have flyers. They're in another bag.
Yes.
They will
That's,
be emailed to you guys.
So you guys will have them, and then I can bring them by at any time to any of your guys' locations as well. There's on our flyers, there's a list of different services we provide for both job seekers as well as businesses as well. You know, you guys ultimately at the end of the day, you're still a business. So in order for you guys to run, you have to have staff. And again, it's when you work with people, it is hard to find the right staff sometimes, especially in the workforce we have today. So.
Let me see if I understood what,
Yeah.
something that we were talking about at the table.
Mhm.
I can tell you that a lot of the libraries have a need of some extra staff.
Yes.
The only problem is we have a need where we can train somebody, but once they're trained, we don't really have the capability or the finances to actually hire them to stick with us. Now, there is a way that they could get the skills here and then try to actually get a job
Yep.
somewhere else, so.
Yeah.
The libraries would not have to, they could take advantage of this, but not actually have to commit to hire them full
Yes.
time.
Yeah, so that would be where, you know, like I said, a try of employment, ultimately at the end of that, it's gonna be that they're wanting to try that out, but if it doesn't work, that's fine, or if you're not able to keep them on, it's fine. Ultimately, we'd like to keep them on full staff, but there's still options that we could do for that. If it's a youth, like she stated, it's a perfect opportunity for anyone that is of that working age to be able to get that experience. Honestly, working with you guys would be more relaxing and easier for them to learn those soft skills and those skills to carry on versus going and working at fast food where they're gonna get yelled at, where they're gonna have really stressful days. These things are things that you guys can do as a member of the community, as a business in the community, to be able to help build that workforce better. Our goal is to keep, we're a rural campus. We have a lot of businesses that are small. And if they lose one or two employees, that's detrimental to them. So whenever they do that, they close down and leave. But we've got a lot of kids that are graduating from high school and they leave and they don't come home. But we are seeing an uptick of the ones that are saying, hey, I want to come back home after I graduate, I want to go to college and come home and build businesses. So those are things that we look forward to. But
And I know usually the other words that I get with it is, if we take on your youth, they're just coming to us with nothing. No, before we start them with you guys, we go through a whole module with them.
Yeah.
So they have the basic skills of what's gonna be expected of them. I'm not asking you to rate someone else's kid, basically, right? We're gonna come in, we're gonna make sure they have everything they need to feel prepared and then.
And if that particular library had 2 or 3 things that they really wanted to focus on, then they would just have to relay that, and you would actually make sure that they're trained on that.
yeah, we can do skills assessments before we do anything else. And just meaning that, like, I'm not gonna send you someone because you guys deal with the public, because you deal with littles all day long. We are not gonna send someone that has a felony that would cause an issue with that. We're not gonna send someone that's gonna have issues like that at all. They're gonna be individuals that are gonna be able to fit your needs as close as we can. If you're willing to train them, that's great. Like we talked, if we can train them from trial of employment to an OJT to a registered apprenticeship, that is the best way to go. And from an employer standpoint, it's a perfect opportunity because for the first 180 days, you don't have to pay them in full. The first 90 days, it's nothing, you don't pay them. Second 90 days, it's half. And then the third 90 days, or the third section of that is the registered apprenticeship to the Department of Commerce. And that can be anything. You can actually have anything, registered apprenticeship anymore, the secretary position, a librarian position, it could be a shelver position, it could be anything.
How many of you were aware that that was something that you might consider?
We have.
That is very good information.
Yeah, I can get those things over. Where are you from? Pittsburgh, okay, yeah, we can get those over to you too, so. Yeah. Yeah, no problem. We're happy to come by and drop off any flyers of any kind and any cards of any kind. I actually literally have a stack about this high of flyers and business cards. I just grabbed the wrong backpack today. Now I know why I don't have 2 backpacks the same color. This one is my backpack. We are actually going through a registered apprenticeship program through our jobs where for both of us business services. So when we leave, that we will. We'll both be certified workforce professionals at the end of that, so.
And another disclaimer is this is for your patrons on that RA too. If you guys want your staff, maybe go to one, we can also talk about that. So
And
just
I'm looking to, if you've got someone to change a role, we're happy to do that too, so. If you've got a shelter that decides they wanna go back to school, or you've got anyone that decides they wanna go back to school, there are some things that we may be able to help. Pay for to be able to get their certification or get their license or get whatever it is that they need. We can help pay for that, as long as there's a skills gap, like I said, it just has to be, like, I wouldn't be able to go to Stephanie and be like, hey, Stephanie, I wanna go for another business services role, or like an outreach role, because that's what I'm already doing. I've got experience in it, I could change to those things, but it doesn't mean that I don't know how to do the basic part of that job, so.
Did you, or is there anything specific on your youth, the summer youth program that might be additional to what you've already talked about? Cause that doesn't necessarily have to lead to a full-time.
No, so with the youth, it's different. We call that no work experience or work-based learning. That one can be paid just by us. You guys don't have any type of obligation, give them the hours, they can only work 720 hours. And it would it's just a summer job. That's the purpose behind it. It's a summer job, so they go back to school. Now, say maybe you really like that youth and you're like, hey, can we work in the fall with them? Because we still can use their help every now and again. We can look at extending and doing a fall one and just a little more limited due to schooling. Where that kind of falls in different between the adults that program fits, you don't have to hire them straight on.
Right. And again, it can be any, like, if you're willing to train them and you're willing to show them, as long as, I say that, but as long as it's not like heavy equipment operation or anything like that, there's certain things that obviously are not covered by workman's comp because you can't have a 16-year-old driving semi or something like that. So obviously you guys are going to do that, but I know like the economic developer in Miami County is actually using our program for the specific reason. The girl that she had sent over, she's actually in between her time frame for college, so she's going out there and she works for her. She does a lot of her her emails and stuff like that, and that's all she's done. It's given her experience to be able to do what she needs to do. She's going to school to be a legal secretary or something like that. So it actually allows her to be able to gain some of that experience and just kind of pushes her. And this can be, you can do this every summer. You can do this for multiple positions. And we have like some employers that do 2 positions at the same time. If you've got multiple openings, sometimes you can do that. You know, like she said, we are all in the group, so you guys know how that works. So it just depends on how much is there and how much what we can do. So
They knew that they really only needed help maybe during the summer reading program or something like that. And maybe it's only 6 or 8 weeks for that particular library. That can also be done too.
Yep.
But it's not the whole summer.
So it's about 8 weeks. for the
Yeah.
program itself.
that's actually the time frame is the 6 to 8 weeks on our
Okay.
flyer.
And like I said, most of that'll be on the flyers, so you guys see come through and it'll give you kind of a little bit of like how much, what we can pay on the hours that we're working. So, but we're happy to talk any other time. If you guys need anything, you guys will have our contacts.
He's been your plan as well.
Okay.
If we ask you, probably.
Yeah. Well, you're probably.
With the grant that we're doing, we got 2 or 3 programs that we tied in stuff related to what you guys do. And in order for the libraries to actually be able to take advantage of it, I think working with you would be a great thing. So I'll probably follow up and is it you that I really need to work with?
Yeah, and then I can get you sent out to wherever, Stephanie's actually starting to come to shoot office a couple times a week, they're moving to a new home for their independent office, so, once they get all moved in and settled, then she'll be down there too.
So there's the independence of Chanute, Pittsburgh, Fort Scott's more like Iowa. It's like
Yeah, just a 1 day a week deal.
And was there another?
Important.
Okay. And that would cover all of our 14 counties?
Yeah, because our map is it's similar to your guys', but we have 7 counties. So
You had Miami and you had Coffee and.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions about the process, we're happy to help any way we can, and if we can't travel as far as you are, we have someone who can, so.
If you guys could stick around and otherwise, it's gonna have to use 50 minutes. You have 50, since I told you only prepare for 30, you might not have 50 now.
Well, you know, these folks probably would be fine with being done a few minutes early on a Friday, I'm guessing.
You can't get out before the grand patient.
Contact, I actually have.
You see this?
I know, and technology.
I have a friend that I quite.
Yes, I was gonna say.
Wireless clicker.
I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, I'm right here.
We're back.
Right.
So I don't know what to do. All right, well, my name's Janet Miller. I am a community entrepreneurship manager with Network Kansas. I serve the 15 county Southeast Kansas region, which I think overlays pretty nicely with the Southeast Kansas Library system. And so I'm here to talk kind of about entrepreneurship programming. How many of you or any of you feel like you're already serving entrepreneurs in some way or another? Okay, I have one over here. So probably nothing here will be a huge surprise, but maybe there'll be a few additional resources that we can think about. Yeah. So just to give you a little bit of information about Network Kansas, because we're probably kind of hidden a little bit, but just so you know that about Network Kansas, maybe you just have the magic touch.
Down there to go next.
So the Network Kansas organization was created in 2004 by the Kansas Economic Growth Act. That doesn't necessarily matter to you, other than for you to know that we've been around for 20 years. So, and the whole purpose at the time was they wanted an organization, the state legislature wanted an organization that would help connect entrepreneurs and small businesses to these 4 things: financial resources, valuable relationships, expert knowledge, and experience. So I'm not going to talk a lot about the financial resources today because that's not really the point of this conversation. But just so you know, one of the things that Network Kansas does is we have a lot of financial resources in the form of loans for businesses. Most of our financing is gap financing, which means it comes into play when a bank cannot fully meet the business's needs. So we have a whole range of programs in that area. Lots of funding, both state and federal, to help meet that gap financing need in the state. So if you ever know businesses in need of that kind of assistance or entrepreneurs, just know that it's out there. Don't just take a no at a bank and go away and not try. There are other options. But today, really, we want to talk about programming, which really helps encompass those other 3 areas: relationships, knowledge, and experience. One of the first things that Network Kansas created when it started in 2006 was that we created what we now call our Impact Investment Center and Partner Network. I'm going to talk a bit about that in a second, but basically we have 600 plus partners across the state who help provide business building services to entrepreneurs. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, but I think that can be a resource both to your patrons, but also maybe something you guys want to link into. And then I'll talk specifically in a minute more about our entrepreneurship community partnership, our e-community program. That's the program I work with. Can be a real resource to you and your library in terms of offering entrepreneurship programming. We started that program in 2007 with 6 communities. Now we have 75. I'll show you a map in a minute. So our Impact Investment Center, what we have done is basically create an online resource navigator. This is something you can go to networkkansas.com. If you've got a patron who needs help with business planning, market research, any of these things, you can go on Network Kansas, find the resource navigator. You can search by zip code, find what services exist in your area that can help meet business needs. So that's something you can do self-serve. You can point entrepreneurs to. We've got 661 resource partners at present. We also have a 1-800 number. So if you've got somebody who's not so comfortable searching it, we've got folks you can call on our 1-800 number, and they will walk through a series of questions with an entrepreneur or business owner to ask them, what their needs are and to try to find out where they are and make some referrals to help connect them directly with resources that can help them. So this is a resource that, could be useful to you. We also, on the far side, you probably can't see it well, but we have a training calendar on that website as well. So our resource partners have training opportunities there. A lot of the training opportunities, particularly since COVID for entrepreneurs, there's a lot available just virtually through various partners. So it may be a resource that you can point to, entrepreneurs to in your community if they're looking for a specific kind of help. The other thing that I would think about as you guys, some of you are already serving entrepreneurs, you guys might think about becoming one of the resource partners. If you want to be known, you want us to be able to refer entrepreneurs and businesses in your community your way. We do have a category of resource partner that's called libraries and research organizations. I had our staff look yesterday. We've got about 10 libraries that are in that listing right now. But you guys certainly could do that. It's a process, kind of an intake process where you select which services you provide. So we would only refer folks your way if they meet certain criteria. But if you're interested in that, let me know. We would love to have more libraries as resource partners. So just food for thought on that. Secondly, our e-community program. Again, our e-community program was started back in 2007. We have 75 e-communities right now, so they're represented by the circles on the map. I serve obviously the Southeast Kansas region, so we've got 11 e-communities in Southeast Kansas. Our e-communities are really communities who said, we think entrepreneurship and small businesses, we want that to be a cornerstone of our economic development efforts. We don't just want to chase after big companies. We think entrepreneurship is important. We partner with those communities and they get a couple of things. They each have a leadership team that sort of runs their local group. So those folks meet regularly to come up with plans and ideas of how they want to support entrepreneurs in their community. And they each have a financial review board that works as a loan committee. Network Kansas provides each of those e-communities with funds that they can use to lend out to their local businesses. So they've got a financial review committee. But Network Kansas, we also have funds available for our e-communities that they can access through a grant process to offer programming in the community. Much of that programming, our e-communities are often volunteer groups. Some of them are groups that were created just to be an e-community, so they're just community volunteers. They often partner with others, like potentially libraries, to offer programming. So they can apply for our funds on potentially your behalf if you guys had an entrepreneurship programming idea that you wanted to carry out. Our grant process for our e-communities is a pretty simple process. It's really a matter of them talking to their coach. I'm the coach for Southeast Kansas and saying what they want to do, making a case for how it supports their entrepreneurs, and they can access funds to do that. So programming is a big part of what our e-communities do. But if you're in an e-community, certainly a resource you want to reach out to. So a little bit about entrepreneurship programs that our e-communities have been actively engaged in. I'll start with some youth programs because I know youth is a big area, and you guys, I know, especially in summertime, I know libraries do a lot of youth programming and probably all year round. So probably the best known of our youth programs is the Youth Entrepreneurship Challenge, or YDC program. Anybody familiar with that in your community or know anything about that? Okay, I'll tell you a little bit more in a second. Lemonade Day is another that some communities have started doing in our region, and then Children's Business Fair is a third that I'll kind of hit on today. So the Youth Entrepreneurship Challenge, this is a program that we started back in 2013. It is really a local level entrepreneurship competition for grades 6 to 12. And it is an opportunity for students to come up with a business concept and then pitch that business idea. So think Shark Tank a little bit. They're pitching their idea to a panel, usually of adult judges, but there's also a couple of other components. Usually competitions also include writing a business plan or some kind of business summary at least. And then the other element that's typical for these competitions is sort of a trade show, think Trifold Science Fair display, kind of selling and promoting their business idea. We have a state level competition that all our local winners go to. Local competitions have cash prizes, pretty good size cash prizes in a lot of cases. Many of our communities give a first prize of say $1,000. And the state competition gives even bigger prize money. I think this year our state competition, our state partner is Extension, who left, but they were here earlier. K-State Research and Extension is our statewide sponsor. I think we gave $80,000 in prize money at the state competition this year. So some pretty good prize money and a great opportunity for students. I mean, we really believe that our small businesses and entrepreneurs are really the heart of our communities. I mean, we think about who sponsors the ball team and all the activities. We want to make sure that next crop of those folks are thinking about entrepreneurship as a potential group. In terms of what YDC has looked like over time, you can see we started in 2013, 14, we had 48 students. This just goes through 2023, 24 because we didn't have an updated slide yet. We just finished our 24, 25 year, but we had almost 1,200 students participate in 23, 24. I'm sure it was over 1,200 for this year because we had even more competition. In Southeast Kansas, all 11 e-communities, so if your county had a dot in it, there was a YEC event in your county this last year. The other counties in Southeast Kansas, e-communities have some benefits because they can access prize money and other funding to host their event through Network Kansas. But non-e-communities or other organizations in non-e-communities can host a YEC event. There's just some costs involved. You're gonna have to come up with some sponsorship or other source of those prize funds. But I would say that every county in Southeast Kansas, in my service area, there's been at least one person who has reached out to me and said, boy, I'd really like to do this in my county. So if you're in a non-e community and you have an interest, there's probably at least one other person I could pair you with in your county already who's been talking about or contemplating doing one of these competitions. But these are a great opportunity. I could see libraries plug it in lots of ways. I mean, if your community already has an existing competition, they are always looking for more people to help organize, judge, you know, be part of the planning for those events. But I also think you guys might be able to help offer equipment that you've got available in your library as an opportunity for students to help develop their product or develop their marketing materials. Our student winners at these competitions really over the years have upped their game. I mean, they might be using your t-shirt press to make t-shirts for their business for the trade show. I mean, they might you know, want to use computers to print business cards, that kind of thing. And I would think especially a market that we have tried to tap into that you guys may be better connected with than we have been, and it would be homeschoolers. Homeschoolers are welcome to participate in these competitions, but getting connected with those folks has been challenging. You guys might have the connections to them to be able to help them prepare for a competition. So those are just a few ideas. We love this program. We'd love to talk more with you about how to make that happen. And I would say for those of you who have sort of maker space equipment, we have had a number of, there were at least 2 Southeast Kansas winners this year from local competitions. So their idea was 3D printing things, who were 3D printing, that was their product, who won. But we've also had students do laser engraving and some of these other things who were state winners. So Lemonade Day is somewhat similar concept, but younger kids. This is typically aimed at age sort of K through 5 grade level. And it is really, it's a curriculum. It's really around how do you start a business plan, think about how you make money, and it's all about starting your own lemonade stand. And so we had a couple of communities participate last year. Girard and Elk County both did Lemonade Day events last year. These photos are from Girard's event. And there's workbooks, a whole curriculum that just guides you through how to do this. Network Kansas, we pay for like a statewide license to be able to offer these in the state. And if you're in an e-community, I'm sure your e-community would love to help, you know, apply to us to get funds to buy the books and the curriculum and help if you wanted to host something like this. But a lot of fun, a great opportunity. You know, I see great potential for that. And it's proving, I think, will prove to be a good feeder event to help students so that when they get to YEC age, they'll be ready to go. And then we also, I didn't make a slide for Children's Business Fair, but we've had some communities, Fort Scott is one that I can think of, who've done sort of the idea of Lemonade Day, but they sort of created their own curriculum to help students. And those events have tended to be very similar in terms of the age range they're serving as Lemonade Day. So think K through 5, but they have allowed students to sort of go beyond a lemonade stand. So what kind of business do you want to have? And I know some other communities do this in different forms or fashions. I mean, I know Columbus has done the farmer's market, kind of a youth oriented, but I think there's potential to do more things along those lines. And there are some resources out there. There's a group called the Acton Children's Business Fair where you can actually get some funding to host a local event like this. So there are some opportunities if this sort of youth programming is up your alley and something you think you might be interested in doing. I just can't get the right direction. Okay, adult programming for entrepreneurships is really, this is like a few examples of things that our e-communities do. most of these programs are in partnership in some way, or they're a bigger program that Network Kansas has just partnered with to bring to Kansas. We have frequently partnered with our e-communities to offer the Ice House Entrepreneurship Program. This one is based on a book called Who Owns the Ice House? I'll pass that around if anybody wants to see it. It is a really great program. It's really centered on how do you think like an entrepreneur. So it's really like the characteristics of entrepreneurship and always thinking about how can you solve a problem and looking for opportunities in your daily life. Very preliminary, but a great kind of entrepreneurial mindset book. The program itself is like an 8-week class. There's a curriculum. There are, you need to have a certified facilitator to offer it. But this is the kind of thing where if you've got somebody in your community or at your library or on your library board or somebody who wants to be a facilitator, my e-communities are constantly looking for someone who can facilitate this class. Great opportunity. We've got scholarships to help send for the facilitator training. It's a great opportunity. And I would say on the library front, Miami County a few years ago used the Who Owns the Ice House book for their Miami County Reads opportunity. They actually did book clubs. They bought 1,000 copies through their e-community of the book to share around the community. They had the authors come in. So there are opportunities to look at doing something like that if you're interested. We've also done a course called Entrepreneur Business Basics. This one, how do you grow and start, a business? Focus is probably minority entrepreneurs, but it's got utility across the spectrum. Growing Rural Businesses is a program we partner with the Wichita State University on. Wichita State instructors actually come out to the community to offer this program. It is focused on existing businesses, probably 5 years or older. The idea is sort of taking them to the next level once they're up and running. Online Restaurant Academy. This one's an online class. It's really focused on aspiring and relatively new restaurant and food truck businesses. Those businesses are tough and they have some really particular things about them in terms of licensing and food costing and waste and all those kinds of things. This is really like a very in-depth focused on those businesses. Destination Boot Camp and/or Destination Creation. These are programs that we partner with John Schaller. He created this Destination Boot Camp concept. It's really all about how do you make your business or your community somewhere that people want to come, not just from next door, but from, counties away. I think we can all probably think of businesses that we're willing to drive for because they're so cool or people hear about them or whatever it is. So how do you do that? The Destination Boot Camp is actually something that entrepreneurs go to a boot camp in Colorado generally. But the Destination Creation is something that can be offered locally. Again, you've got to have a certified facilitator, but there are several around, and so that can be offered. The Makerspace Boot Camp is something we've offered to folks, communities around who wanted to think about starting their own makerspace. So that has been something that has been offered periodically. We've also done and I know several of you have attended, we've done a Makerspace Summit the past few years. We'll continue to do that. We'll have another one this fall. I think September is the target date. I'm not sure on location or other details. I know it's being nailed down now, but that's a great opportunity to get together with other makerspace. And then in terms of adult programs, there are lots of others. We really are happy to help support any program that our e-communities come to us and say our entrepreneurs would benefit. So if you're in an e-community and you have an idea for an entrepreneurship related program, this could be anything. We have supported book clubs for various books. We've supported workshops on AI, workshops on social media, workshops on all kinds of different business related topics. It really, it runs the gamut. Our funds at Network Kansas, we really just want to support communities in delivering what their entrepreneurs want or need. And so that kind of has and continues to run the gamut. One other resource you might want to be aware of is this Verizon Small Business Digital Ready platform. This is another resource that's free for entrepreneurs. they've got a bunch of different online courses that businesses and entrepreneurs can access on their own time. And this program, periodically, they offer a grant to businesses who've completed a couple of classes within a certain time frame. They do that a couple of times a year. So it's just a great resource that's available to businesses anytime, anywhere if they have an interest. So just another thing that wanted you to be aware of. And then finally, I would just say, I think if you want to do entrepreneurship programming, the one thing I would say is, I don't think there's any need that you guys would have to like reinvent the wheel or do this alone. I think there are tons of potential partners, and so I would encourage you, think about if you've got an e-community and you need to be connected with them, let me know. I would love to make that connection because I'm sure they would love to have you and your ideas and know that you have an interest. If you've got a local chamber, a local Main Street organization, a local economic development organization, more than likely, they have some interest in small business and entrepreneurship, and they may have funds or they may be able to cross-promote, cross-collaborate with you on something. They may have access to some kind of curriculum they could hand you. The Small Business Development Center at Pitt State, they cover, I think, pretty much this whole corner of Southeast Kansas. They offer free workshops. They're always looking for places to host those. So if you have interest in doing something, they may be able to bring something ready-made to your location. They also do free consulting and counseling for businesses, help with business plans, etc. So they're a great resource. SCORE is another resource that offers tons of free workshops, particularly online right now. They're a group that's primarily like retired business executives. So they've got a wealth of experience and they offer a ton of resources. It's, I think, just score.org is their website, but lots and lots of resources there. And then I think broadly about others. I mean, we've partnered with Research and Extension. The Southwind District folks have been particularly great, but Wildcat District Extension has been great partner with us on various entrepreneurship programs. They're particularly excited about youth programming, but I think there might be potential for them to help deliver some entrepreneurship related programming to adults as well. So I would say, think broadly and partner. No need to try to do it by yourself. And then I'll give you my contact information. And I'd be happy, like I said, to connect you with your e-community, to connect you with others, to help provide you connections to any or all of these resources. At Network Kansas, we really just want to see more entrepreneurship support and programming. And if we can help that along, like, let us know. We generally, our funds primarily go to our e-communities, but if you get something really amazing going on and you're in a non-e community, let us know. We'll see if we can find a way to support what you're doing, because that's really what we want to do.
Did you send me any point of contacts for the e-communities? And I'll make sure that I'll get that information out.
Yeah, I would be happy to.
Are some of the e-communities covering more than one county?
No, all of our e-communities are generally just a single county. We do have a few that are smaller than a county. Girard e-community just covers the, I'm not gonna know what USD school district they are, 248, okay, so they just cover that particular school district. And Altamont e-community is similar in that they just cover the Labette County high school, that school district. And so, but the rest are countywide in South Kansas.
Do we have e-communities representing each of our counties, or? Do we
There-
have
The counties that don't are, let's go. So we don't have an e-community in Wilson, Woodson, Coffee, or Greenwood counties.
Okay.
All the other counties have an e-community at least somewhere in there, so. But yeah, I can definitely send you the contacts so that you can share that.
And if both of you, if you guys can send me the slides, I'll make sure that participants today get it, and also all of the library directors get it too, because again, I really think that your organizations can be very important for us to be able to, not only for our grant and for the grants Extension Office are going to be participating, but just some general programming and obviously some staffing with radio, so and. Now, the one concern that I have about the youth programs is the youth entrepreneurship. How many of our school districts are participating in that? And what is the role of the library? How can the library maybe encourage to do a joint collaboration with them to go ahead and make sure that Southeast Kansas has a little bit more participation in that?
You know, the participation by school district varies a little bit. We've got some school districts who've been participating regularly for a number of years, others who haven't participated at all, so it really varies district by district. Some of that is, we have found it over time, you gotta find the right person in the school district, so sometimes it's been a matter of trial and error to find the right teacher who's excited about this, or the right administrator who really sees the potential. But I would see libraries being able, I mean, the schools are important, but the schools aren't the only way that students can be prepared for these competitions. We've had some competitions that didn't have any school connected, and, you know, Extension or somebody else just did some classes to help prepare students. So I think there's potential to do it that way. I think the homeschool angle might be an option if you've got connections to that community. I could see libraries helping there. But I could also see there's only so much time that schools have in the classroom to help students through this process. So I could see some, you know, prep time.
Like a business card program.
Yeah.
We're creating business cards today.
Yeah.
To give out.
Anything like that. Yeah, like any of those peripheral things, I think, you know, where it's a, hey, like, let's have a brainstorming session to come up with your business idea, and, you know, just kind of some kind of programming like that could be ways that kids who maybe haven't thought about participating would get excited about it.
The participants that are in the state competition, how long of the process is that between from the local competitions to the state? What's the time frame that is?
Local competition is, we opened the series for the year in the fall. I would say the first competitions start happening in November, but there are very few competitions that happen in the fall semester. Most of the competitions are concentrated between mid-February and mid-March. And then our state competition tends to be in mid-April. So that's kind of our timeline generally, but every school district and county kind of depends on when they're offering. A lot of times it's tied to an entrepreneurship class in the high school, so it depends which semester they're offering and those kinds of things. But
Okay, and I see a potential collaboration with the entrepreneurship program, and then what the youth training program, and then also some other programs that you guys have. That if you had a particular set of patrons that you're really wanting to try to help, you could actually encourage the youth to go ahead and try to address that particular set of patrons, and then where they're trying to figure out, you give them the problem of what you want to address, they can figure out what they could do as far as from a business point of view, and then maybe actually go ahead and while they're doing that, they might even be able to get paid through the youth program where they're getting trained to also help you in some other areas too. So, and then again, I think the extension office, they had to leave a little bit early, but these three organizations, I think if you guys work with them and work with your school district, I think there's some great opportunities that you guys can maybe address that you have never thought that you could. Especially if you're able to go ahead and address that manpower issue that a lot of you have. I know that how many of you are single librarians? As far as you're the only one, okay. You're by yourself, or do you have a staff now?
I have a couple part-time girls on site.
Okay. So, well, now you might be able to get them paid, or paid different, we're gonna, all the information that has been presented, I'll make sure that that gets to you, and then also to all the other directors. And then once we get more information on our grant and then the other grants, um. I really think that this could be a really great year, and. The equipment that we're gonna purchase will also be available to us after that. Now, we've got to try to figure out how the handoff's gonna be. Some of the libraries might actually, be able to take responsibility for some of the equipment that. We're talking about, 3D printers that are gonna be about $1,500, $2,000 range. Talking engravers, some of them will be a little bit cheaper for, introductory, and then some good stuff that are some of the better ones that will. Be able to actually do some of the prototypes that are needed in the entrepreneurship program. Honestly, I'm excited about this grant. I waited a whole freaking year to, I think I worked 14 months on this thing. And to be able to get that 220,000, and be able to also now know all the kind of programs that we got. I had no idea on Canvas Works, and I knew the extension office had quite a bit, and especially the one that is covered with Southwind. I don't know if you guys, like she said, some of your extension offices might not be able to do as much, but I have a feeling that Southwind would be willing to maybe do some collaboration, with maybe that extension office if you wanted to work with the library that's in the, in their district. So then you've got these two organizations as well. So you guys have any other questions? Have you guys, during this day, have you come up with some ideas that you might approach that you never thought that never thought of before today? And then we also have the sign. There was a lot of opportunities for the science citizen program too, so. In your package, you have evaluation forms. I guess we won't keep you all the way to the 3 o'clock time. You're at 2:27, so.
Did you need these forms back, or do we like email them to you?
If you could go ahead and fill them out, and then just, if you wanna leave them, since you're here, if you wanna just leave them at the desk with, Jake. And then, I have, do we have, you know, if we have anything left over as far as. Okay, I don't know, if they might have already taken that over, so I mean, if there's anything that's still out there, please, make sure that you take advantage of that. Yep.
Alright.
So,
Right, I like that. You get it, nice.
you want the presentation?
They were on that big, like that, it's like a little mouth. Yeah, I gotta check that out. Alright, you been hired me, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty handy.
You don't like side.
Let's check it out.
So.
It's a gift to you.
Let's see. I wouldn't use these, I think we got one out. I don't think they put in there, I don't think these two rooms haven't had their deep cleaning, so that's sort of why we were able to. That's why. But yeah, since there's not a bag there, I just go really need to point out there now. I think I said. Yeah, I think there's a second,
Yeah. Yeah, they were really.
Well, hopefully, your kids and
Yeah, well, you might have some.
Yeah, see,
Do it right there, run even in his car in his shop. It's a long tire, you know, there 2 days ago. Yeah. Oh, I was on country roads.
Oh, so great.
Fully aware how that goes.
Starting.
Yep.
So she'd be in here like
5 months.
Yeah.
So by the end of the year, so I'm excited.
Let us know when you're ready for text stuff.
Yeah,
Second day of it.
okay.
So, you know, you don't let us get back.
About please.
Yeah.
Bye.
Later.
So I got over here. Like 3 hours a week. The other ones.
Yeah.
Almost to 20.
Yeah, you guys, we get to wait. Because, yeah, they.